event in our lifetimes now is the re-establishment of China's position in the international system. You know, before 1800, China was the biggest country in the world by population and by GDP. It remains the biggest country in the world by population. It will, before many years are out, be the country with the largest GDP. Not GDP per capita, but GDP in aggregate. You know, the advent of the modern China is going to change the way the world functions, but more particularly the Asia Pacific. So we've got to see that event. We've got to see Australia in here. But here we are this week, you know, still covering a visit by the Queen. No, we are, you know, I mean, waving that embarrassing flag. I'm not just beating a drum here. Just understand this point. How do we approach this massive state, China, all the political and economic energy that's arising out of North Asia, South Korea, Vietnam, Japan included, Southeast Asia, and that massive state to our north, Indonesia. And here we are, attached to a worn-out old European monarchy. You know,
as long as you're not referring to the Queen. As long as you're not referring to the Queen in those personal terms. No,
I'm talking. Well, you'd hardly say the House of Windsor is in good shape. I noticed Bill Hayden the other day saying, "Oh, I think it's going through a renewal with William and the wife," and you go, "God help us, God help us." How could it go through a renewal? It's got no chance of renewal. It's not. You know, you saw the 16 other member states in the group of Commonwealth countries the other day. 16 of them still have the Queen as the head of state, and they all met. She's not just our Queen; she's 15 others. I mean, how could she be ours?
But you know, Paul, Labor was in power first with Hawke, then with you for 13 years.
Yeah.
You had a lash. She's still there, and in your book, you say, this was your notes on your conversation with the Queen at Balmoral.
Yeah.
I told the Queen as politely and gently as I could that I believed the majority of Australians felt the monarchy was now an anachronism, that it had gently drifted into obsolescence.
Correct.
Wasn't too much obsolescence in evidence around Australia.
No, but have a look. The '99 referendum would have won, except we had the shellback Howard as the Prime Minister. You know, he wouldn't. You see, I set up the parliamentary model, which I announced in the House of Representatives for the Liberal Party to accept. And what were the elements? The head of state, appointed by both houses of the Parliament, which meant the Liberal Party and the Labor Party, sitting in unison and in concert. In other words, the head of state's power derived from the democratically elected chambers, you know. They were not one person elected at large, hearing voices, you know. And the Liberal Party also wanted the Senate, they wanted the reserve powers, the kingly powers associated with the Governor-General left with the head of state. I agree to that. And they wanted the Senate to retain the right to refuse supply. I left all those things. Howard should have said, thank you, we will have that.
But he was never going to do that, and you know that.
Yes, well, of course, Downer was there when I announced it, and Downer was inclined to do that. But once, you know, the old maverick from the 1950s re-arrived, then he said no. Okay, so the end result is the referendum went down, not badly, but let's say I had won the 96 election, I was Prime Minister, we would have the thing. Yeah. We would have it now. We would know who we are. And who are we? We're going around Asia saying, oh, we're the new Australian nation. Oh, by the way, our head of state is the Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain. Oh, is she? Yeah, yes. And let me have a look at your flag. Oh, isn't this the flag of Great Britain? No, that's in the corner. No, we have that in the corner. You know, I mean, how could, And we've always, of course, the Liberal Party's always looking for a strategic guarantor. It used to be the British Navy. Britain and the British Navy is now the United States and the American Navy. Instead of saying, look, we're in the region, psychologically we want to belong to the region, we're going there as ourselves. By the way, we do a nice thing by our own Indigenes, as we will you. By the way, our head of state is one of our own. By the way, we are the Australian people. You know, getting around as a sort of limping, derived society, which is the way we look, you know, in these great states. So if you go back to the Gillard government and the current, which you asked me, these massive geologic events like the rise of China, the rise of India, the post-colonial world, the post-Cold War opportunity is the shaper of our lives. So therefore this should be, I think, the theme. We've set another Labor government set up the economy for the long run. We now sit on a very flexible, strong economy, probably the best performing Western economy, a developed economy in the world. But now we have to find our place in the region we live in and want to be in it. In other words, we have to find our security in Asia, not from Asia. You know, in the end, Howard was always about finding our security from Asia. You know, being under the American armpit in Iraq, you know.
But